Cheryl, we good? More short, man.
We're off. Okay. Good afternoon. We acknowledge the far west coast Aboriginal peoples who have nurtured this country and its borders for thousands of years. We pay deep respect to the elders past, present and emerging, recognising a connection to this land and a continued cultural heritage. We also honour and celebrate the pioneers who made their way to Ceduna, whose hard work, determination and resilience helped to establish communities, shape the land and create a legacy that continues to support future generations. Their contributions remain woven into the fabric of our shared history. We express our gratitude to those who have served this country to protect and uphold the freedoms we enjoy. Their sacrifice has safeguarded our communities and ensured a future where we can live together in peace. We also acknowledge and thank those who migrated to make Ceduna their home, bringing with them diverse skills, cultures and experiences. Their contributions have enriched our community, helping to build and strengthen the fabric of life here. Today we recognise the connection to country held by all people who live, work and care for this land. We share a commitment and a responsibility to preserve, respect and nurture it, united by spirit of community. May we each draw inspiration from those who came before us while building a future generation to come. Okay. Apologies. We have an apology from Councillor Evans and Councillor Brown and Deputy Mayor Sleep. I could have booked card tables of it this afternoon, but it's
Councillor Brown did say we might get here later.
okay. Right. We'll see. Well, this stage is you couldn't apology, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. So now we need to confirm the minutes, please. Can someone move the recommendation that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on 15th July be confirmed as true and correct, please? Councillor Ryan and Councillor Mario Nichols. Disclosure of interest. Does anyone think the members are required to disclose any conflict?
Still need to vote.
Oh, yes. You all in favour of being passed, thank you. Right. Even that little technical bit. Let's put that in the agenda. Disclosure of interest. Elected members are required to disclose any conflict of interest, whether in a general conflict of interest, etc., etc. Anyone got a conflict of interest they know where of? Councillor Jacobson.
General employee of FWCP.
Oh, sorry.
FWCP when we get to, I've lost it.
So you're
The
referring to
lighting.
conflict of interest in regards to officers report 13.1.
Thank you, Ben. Yes, I am.
No worries. And
Thank
your intention is to remain in the chamber?
Yep, and declare.
Right. Okay, we'll move on to my report for August. You have to, because otherwise we haven't got a quorum.
That was my intention. That's not.
Okay, we'll go on to the mayor's report for August 26th. Before I start the usual rundown, I'll give my pay contribution to ex-councillor Joyce Brewster. Now, I recognise Joyce put in nearly 8 years in service in the council. And while she didn't turn the world upside down, you certainly listened to when she had something to say, because usually there was something behind what she had to say. So I thank her and congratulate her. I take note that her involvement with council came about some arm twisting by the previous mayor in Alan Sutter, whereby Joyce used to come to the budget meetings, was often the only one here. She asked questions, and at one stage, Alan said to her, rather than coming along asking questions, being part of the team, and for the last 8 years she has. So I'm proud of the community and all elected members. I thank her sincerely for her contributions in that time. And I wish her and Graham all the best and for the future life ahead of them. I think I've got a sneaking suspicion travel was involved. All right, so we go on to the normal stuff. Let's go back a bit. July the 9th, I met with the Mayor of Mackay, Mr. Greg Williamson. Needless to say, it was a bit like chalk and cheese compared to the tourists. We just had common interests, common issues that their issues are mainly got lots of noughts on the end of them. It makes our budget work. Yes. They had just completed their budget cycle, and for the benefit of elected members, they had 22 budget meetings. So our 4 or 5 make sure of it. But I think what happens there is each department gets down to budget sessions. So I think some of their department's budgets are way in excess of our budget. Just a comparison. They do a lot more things, but it was interesting. July the 20th, I met with the acting CEO. July 27th, I met with the acting CEO. On July the 30th, I attended via Teams meeting, the LPGA board meeting, and that's brought up in the CEO report, page 20. Just what the council endorsed the decisions we made at that meeting. On the August the 4th, along with the CEO, met with the SA cross-border Commissioner Kelly and Saffron. It was basically a public relations exercise to realise there's not much discussed between here and west, distinct from the eastern states. One stat she gave me was I found interesting. There's 3,000 Victorians a day come across in the south side of the week. So it's sort of a bit of a mass migration. No wonder they had problems in COVID.
In the border area.
Yeah, to down the border. But
That'd be the Mildura.
Mount Gambier, all that,
Yeah.
border town stuff, yeah. Interesting. I made August 10th, met the CEO and we had community chat.
Big fan.
Yeah, one. August the 13th, and the door's open, so the comment, that's what I mean, no, the door's open, that's what I'm
Better than that.
Yeah, well, that's it, it's got nothing to hide, not gonna duck behind the table or under the table. Open door, it's over there, it's there for anyone who wants to come along. On August the 13th, along with the CEO, participated in a Teams meeting with the Minister, Nick Champion, with regards to a August West scheme. I must say I was rather buoyed up that meeting, I thought we had a good hearing. I think he understood our problem and dilemma and took it on board. He wasn't going to give us an instant answer, of course, but he gave us an undertaking that he would organise a follow-up meeting, which I think. Yep. Is that right?
It's already been organised for October.
There you go. So he's true to his word, and I look forward to ongoing discussion. I'm positive we should get some sort of an outcome. Good. On August the 13th, I attended the Crossways Lutheran College Concert Spectacular. And it was a spectacular. It was very well done. And it was good to see the town hall being used. And it was full capacity. So I was lucky I was invited and had a seat. But it was a very good show. I congratulate the Lutheran College on performance. It was obviously a whole team effort, the staff, the teachers and the students. They did an excellent job. And I think we've got quite some unique musical talent in the town. Then on August the 17th, met with the CEO of Monday. And he took me for a ride around the district, having a look at the roadworks and all the rest of it. And I must say that I was impressed with what we saw. And I think we're fortunate in a small country town where people know everyone. And given Councillor Nichols' involvement with the roadworks happening out there, where it's at the moment impassable, and the contractors and the council staff trying to get something happening ready for the harvest, I think that's commendable to all concerned. And I think that's just, again, one of the advantages of being a small community, a distinct one, where everyone can get on with it, everyone and get things done when we have to, especially in circumstances beyond our control. And that rain event certainly was one of those. But that's I know we can't take everybody out there to look. It's not a sightseeing tour, but it's certainly quite awe-inspiring as to what can be done when it has to be done. So I congratulate all concerned. And that is my report for August. Someone like to move that be received, please. Councillor Jacobson and Councillor Mario Nicholas, all those in favour? Thank you. I remember this. Now, individual members, Councillor Brian.
No, I'm pretty clean, except that I would recommend that anyone wants to go and have a look at Lake Erie. I've done that 3 weeks ago for the weekend, and I'll tell you what, it's well worth having a look at it. Then the bird life, it's unbelievable. If you ever get a chance, jump out. It's one opportunity. So, thank you.
Councillor Haley Nicholas.
I haven't been out and about much for the last month. Hibernating this winter. But did attend a Progress Association meeting where we are discussing the hotel would like some assistance with decorating the town for Christmas. So Progress is offering their assistance, and the men's shed is going to help out, and the school, and hopefully we put something together that's really great for Christmas spirit in the town. Thank you.
It's scary, the fact we're talking about Christmas already.
I know.
Councillor Jacobson.
This month I've been really concentrating on Faircolor and our town funding. So looking on the community co-design for that. So that was twice this month that we've been working on that. I'll give an update when we actually know the co-design phase starts and we figure out as a town what we want those funds to be directed towards. Also want to kind of commend Joyce as well. because she often had the voice of those that we don't often hear from, and Joyce was always the person that brought those voices to the table, so.
Yep.
Gonna miss that, she really did have her ear to the ground in areas that, we're not involved in all the time, so, we'll miss that. And just on something unrelated but very related to all of us here in town is, again, I'll bring up the loss of Ceduna funerals. And just as a reassurance, there is a small group of us that are working on to have a checklist so that we can help community members with what needs to be done for a funeral. I think a lot of us in this room in the last few months have had to deal with this, so it is something that's gonna be helpful for the town. We just need to figure out where that best placed. And where it's accessible to the community. So rest assured, there is a group of people that are working on that checklist now, and we'll provide it as soon as we can. Might even be a link on Facebook, we're not sure, could be a link on Facebook or to Ceduna forum or the council. We'll see where it's best placed, Red Cross, or even if we put that checklist out and about. We'll see where that goes and where it ends up. It's not very far away from coming out. So if anybody finds himself in need, please do reach out because we can help. There's lots of us in this room that have first-hand experience in the last couple months. So please reach out that's probably to the forum. If there's anyone listening, please reach out if you need a hand because we are a community, we can support each other and we have a lot of experience. And let's work on how we're gonna bridge that gap.
What's it? Councillor Little.
I've done a lot, I've talked about a bit on the logistics with the water. And that to get a road open for harvest out there, and that's. And Mark as well, and that's been. So, considering some of the hoovers had jump with runs and stuff like that, so. There's that, and yes, your thing, Michelle, about the funerals and that, we've had to go through that with Dad's passing. And there's a bit in when someone dies, you could organise an undertaking, you've got a whole lot of people stuff to do. And it's not an easy task, to get it all to come together. So, yes, it's really interesting to see what you're coming up with, sure. And I would like to thank Joyce for her time in council, she was fantastic to work with. That's pretty much it for me, thank you.
Okay, all right, so someone like to move those reports we received, please, Councillor Jacobson and secondly Councillor Ryan, all those in favour? Thank you. Deputation and petitions, we've got none. Public questions, we've got none. Questions on those, we've got none. Motions on those, we've got none. Questions about those, Councillor Ryan.
Yes, I have, actually, this one's to Benno, just wondering whether we've heard from our invite to Lucy Hood about our tax code.
So we haven't received any feedback in regards to that first councillor.
Very interesting. Where do we go from here?
Well, we can wait till we reply.
Yeah. No, I just something as everybody knows, I've been banging on about it. Yeah, so here we go, I suppose.
Any other questions?
No, I think.
Councillor Haley, Nichols? Councillor Jacobson?
No.
Councillor Murray, Nichols? No, it's not. Motions without notes. Anyone got a motion without notes? No. Okay, reports from council committees, there's none. Officer report, CEO report, Mr. Taylor, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So my first report is in regards to amendments to the Evanish Local Government Association Charter. I guess following the delay in the local government elections, there's needed to be some correction to wording within the EPLGA Charter. The board of the EPLGA, which Mayor's on, met and has provided a recommendation for all of the constituent councils to vote on to support the amendments to the charter. They require 8 of the 11 councils to support the amendments before they can be enacted. So provided obviously is the annexures that show the written letter to council, the minutes from that special meeting of 30 July, and Annexure C being the proposed changes to the charter. And if I've got any questions, happy to try and answer. Otherwise, the recommendation that council endorses the amendments to the LGA charter as presented in Annex C of this report.
Someone like to move that way? Councillor Haley Nichols and Councillor Jackson seconds, all those in favour? Thank you for that. You have it passed unanimously at the board meeting. This is just a matter of, as the CEO said, endorsing what we already decided as such. Okay,
So second report, so I guess following on from previous report, in the June, in the previous council meeting, June council meeting, sorry, and the subsequent resolution from the 2025 council meeting in regards to lighting of the Air Highway Common Street. Now, Forest Community Partnerships have been doing some advocacy work in regards to this and haven't been getting positive responses so far from the government. So I think the question is to be raised to show that there's potentially some, I guess, shovel readiness in regards to a project like this. If it's the interest of the council, it may be beneficial to actually start the project in terms of having an appropriate lighting design undertaken, which then if that lighting design is undertaken, we can then potentially go out for tender or quote for both the contestable and non-contestable components of potentially providing better lighting to actually get what because as most politicians want to know how much is it going to cost. And I think that's the intention with this report is if this is something which we believe is important, it may be more beneficial for council to actually kickstart the project by getting the design work done, going out and getting the actual costings of what it's actually going to cost. So then we can then go back to government and go, well, this is what it's actually going to cost to actually light the area of Air Highway and Coleman Street to a higher standard. So at the time of writing this report, council staff had received one submission which was for just under $30,000 to do the necessary design works. However, since the writing of this report, we've received a secondary quote which is for a lower amount, just under $20,000. But what my writing of this report was Forest Community Partnerships, obviously as part of that, I guess as their advocacy, is there potential for their organisation to possibly co-fund this design work so it doesn't just sit with council. I think there possibly is. I've had some, positive conversation with the executive officer there. And therefore my recommendation is that council allocates $15,000 towards the street lighting design work, Air Highway and Coleman Street, subject to Forest Community Partnerships providing written confirmations that contribute the remaining 50% for the quoted design work. If anyone's got any questions, happy to answer any.
I think it's a great concept. I do have some concerns, which I do have a concern that ratepayers will be paying money towards something that's a state government responsibility. But I mean, this could be a precedent that how we work together with the state governments, especially when we're entering into conversations around jetty, blah, 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 blah. But one of my most important questions is who would own it? Like if we're going to pay for the infrastructure quote or the design, we're not taking ownership of that. That will still be owned by the state government, will be co-owned. Who's going to be responsible for maintenance is probably my biggest question on that one.
I think, haven't got to that hurdle yet, councillor, but I think, the lights that are on the intersection of Coleman Street and Air Highway now are responsibility of the Department of Infrastructure and Transport. Same with the lights that are on Thevenard Road near the Ceduna Southern Club. They are state government lights. It would be my intention that would be my intention to begin with is that the lights are the responsibility of South Australian government in regards to maintenance costs and energy costs moving forwards. I guess that is I consider that to be a secondary hurdle potentially to be dealt with in the event that we got the funding. Energy costs would not be very high as in the LED lights moving forwards. Maintenance costs would have to be something that would be taken into consideration. I guess SA Power Networks potentially be contracted to deal with the maintenance like they do with our street lights.
So, can I ask 2 questions?
It's up to the mayor.
Through your worship.
Yes.
So part of that design plan would include an SA Power Network assessment of that project as well?
So the design guideline, so the design work is, the intention of the design work, councillor, is to actually design and determine what physical works would be required to meet the V1 or V2 lighting standard in accordance with the Australian standard. Now, there is actually street lighting on Air Highway, however, it's on the park property boundaries. So if you go from the old Arts and Culture Centre towards the Ceduna Sports Club, there's a couple of street lights, but they're on the property boundaries of the houses and the Ceduna Sports Club. Obviously, they're not on the air highway. Similar with Mackenzie Street. They're on the property boundaries, not on the actual road. So therefore, there is obviously an electrical line that runs down the property boundaries. If the intention is, and it's the only way the lighting would actually be effective, is the street lighting would actually have to be right adjacent to the road.
Yeah.
So therefore, as part of the design works, we'll actually be designing, okay, all your trenching to get the supply from the current supply line that runs down the edge of the weather reserve to the road. So it's more about the technical drawings. Then it also gets into the technical details in regards to if you use different light poles or different light heads, this is then how the light is then emitted from these to then obviously meet just different specifications. So I guess the intention of the design work is to actually get a construction ready design. However, those designs can go one step further and you can calculate what your future energy costs would be and also then potentially what your future maintenance costs would be on those. And that would be just a simple addition, I think, to the overall design. So I guess the company that has come back more recently is affiliated with SA Power Networks, which then definitely makes things a lot easier to get costings on those sorts of things.
Thank you.
Councillor Ron.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea we collaborated with Far West Partnerships. No, I was to the opinion that was part of our highway, which is federal.
Exactly. Sorry if I may. It's actually state government. So even though it's a federal highway,
Yeah, that's what
the federal government basically engages the state governments to maintain the roads.
Yeah.
So I guess the sole reason for this report is I am privy to correspondence that was received by FWCP from the Minister for Infrastructure and Transport, which indicated that there was no appetite of the state government to actually consider doing any of this works at this stage. So I guess this is this whole thing, like obviously the sentiment of Councillor Jacobson saying, well, this is a state government road. So we've got the correspondence space to say they're not interested at this point in time. I guess the intent of this is, okay, let's actually start the work, show them that there's some intent from our community to actually get this work done. We're just going to need potentially need state government support in the future. Yeah.
And over, Councillor Nichols.
Yes, I'm in support of this, probably only over about time before something gets killed. There's been a few close misses. We had that whole incident that years on our road going out, Good Road, where there were people killed and we don't really do it. You have a look at the good street lighting we've got by the Sailing Club. It's up high, it's not in trees, you can't slow it up. I guess that's what sort of thing that Ben will be talking about. So, thank you.
One who negotiates that corner every day, every Monday, Friday, in leading up to to sunrise, it's always tricky. And you've got people walking around at 7 o'clock in the morning and
Not wearing high vision.
no high-vis. And you've got your beat, I can tell you, I make no secret of the fact I have a license on high beam. And I sympathise with anyone driving towards me, but I have more conscious of people walking towards me that can't see properly. So I get very correct, yeah. Okay, councillor Nichols moves, councillor James, councillor Ryan seconds, all those in favour? Thank you, that's passed. Next one.
So my next report 3, request for council advocacy support. Councillors have received correspondence from Coorong District Council seeking other councils to write to the state government to support the reintroduction of the statute amendment for rates electricity generation bill. I guess currently wind farms, solar farms are only charged rates based upon site value, not capital value. A lot more popping up around the place. The Coorong Council is obviously seeking support for the government to reintroduce this so that I guess these these enterprises are rated in the same manner as any other commercial enterprise within council areas. Obviously doesn't impact on us because we don't have anything of that ilk in our council area. However, in situations like this, I guess turn your mind to if there's something that something in the future that council wants to lobby for and needs support from other councils. It's better to probably, I guess, support other parts of the state in matters like this. So if anyone's got any questions, happy to answer. Otherwise, I've got a recommendation that the council directs the CEO to write to the SA Premier supporting the Coorong Council's attempts for the reintroduction of the statute amendments bill.
I'll story, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Anyone got any questions? Okay, someone like to move that motion, councillor Ryan and councillor Jacobs on seconds, all those in favour? Excellent.
Fourth report is a request from Ceduna Portugal Hotel in regards to the road verge in front of the hotel. The hotel has submitted a development application, which is plans that are provided at Annexure F to, I guess, extend their current alfresco area for the front bar out onto the, I guess, the built up area, which is currently paved, to have a larger alfresco area. As my report states, there are various different ways this can be looked at. I guess first option is that council doesn't consider relinquishing use of the road reserve, and therefore this all goes no further. We can look at permits, temporary permits under sections 221, 222 of the Local Government Act. Could look at potentially closure of a portion of road reserve and sale of that additional portion to the hotel as part of a boundary realignment. I guess it's really up to the appetite of the council, but I think in this situation, as I guess we have a community hotel and council and community organisation, that we potentially put this whole matter out for community consultation to see what the public perception is of this sort of, I guess, endeavour. I was, even before I wrote this report to the council, I was considering, do we actually go to one step further completely and look at, I guess, the future of the entire area in front of the hotel. I did have, I guess, conversation with representatives from the hotel. I guess the indication was that there is nothing within the medium term or long term about anything further in front of the hotel. I think they're just looking at the potential benefits that it may provide. Obviously, the jetty area is obviously quite popular for patrons of the hotel, visiting patrons, I should say. And they've obviously thought about this small extension. So happy to answer anything in regards to this. But my recommendation is that the CEO, the council directs CEO to undertake community consultation on possible or in accordance with our engagement policy on the proposed use and potential provision of tenure over the back portion of the road reserve in front of the hotel.
Yes, Nichols.
Given that the hotel is a community owned facility. And pours massive amount of money back into the community, and we have a world-class facility here. Do we need to go to public consult with it? I guess my thoughts with it are that, for the amount of land I want, what they're choosing to do, I would be happy to just, leave a motion that the road bit that they're looking for should be closed and transferred to the hotel to do what they've got in their design plan.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, councillor Hills, but I sort of tend to think a bit of transparency wouldn't go us right. You only need, if we went ahead and did what you proposed,
Okay.
you only need to cut and say what area. If we go out to the public and give them the public's response to most of their things we go to, I don't expect we'll be swamped with replies. At least people can say that you had a chance, and we can take them on view.
Yeah.
I take it, it's not urgent, but I think it's just good PR to be able to go say, look, we had a chance. We only have to look at who turned up to the budget meetings.
Yeah.
Nil. So I think, no, I've got, well, I think we should go out to a public resort. Councillor Jake, I think you
No, I'd like to stop here.
Oh, thanks, China.
There we go.
No.
Always, gentlemen. Have we had any legal advice around this? I have a couple of questions.
Sure. Go ahead.
So we haven't had legal advice, no. If we were to consider, options 2 or 3, I guess, which is some form of tenure, we would be required potentially to go out for consultation anyway.
Yeah.
So,
That's a council expense as well, isn't it? That's a consultation process.
yeah, potentially.
Through your worship, can I ask a couple of
Yes,
questions more? Like, we'll be looking at land value, considering the decisions that we've made in the past that involve small business, would we be looking at land value of what that land is worth and how, we have made decisions in the past about public
Yes,
land and private business usage, keeping in mind it's a community hotel.
So I think so. I need to. I guess be very clear. It doesn't matter the organisation. I think you've got to approach things in the same manner. I think, and so therefore, we as an organisation need to make sure that we are getting what's best value for the community. So therefore, if we're looking at a lease arrangement, we would potentially, find out what it would be, what this potential value is from a lease perspective. Different parcels of land have different values. Just likewise, if it was for actual close off and actual sale, we would be required to actually get independent valuation for that and so therefore if this portion of land, even though it's only possibly 100, not even 100 square meters, what is the actual value of that?
The size of a car park.
Well, yeah, so there is that value. I'd also draw the commentary in Annexure E where I guess like the hotel acknowledges that there will be costs involved with this, and the position is that they would cover the cost.
Yeah.
So so I obviously met with the CEO in regards to this and like he did reiterate that, and there would be whichever way you went, there would be costs. But I guess the development application itself did not require any form of community consultation as well. So I guess when I raised that, my recommendation is that we potentially go out for community consultation. One, so the community could see what the hotel was proposing to do, but then also at the same time, council can then also speak with the community on what from each side of things.
So that would fall under a category in the new community engagement policy we're about to look at soon.
See, that's the thing. I've got my reports done a little bit before Ms. Oates did, so I was still referring to the current adopted community engagement policy, but obviously after this meeting, subject to the decision later on, but it would then follow the engagement charter.
Yeah, but you're wishing that you went first.
No,
I think that's neat.
you've done well.
No, any more questions?
Yeah.
No, that's it, thank you.
Councillor Ryan.
I think it's a good idea, and it's not gonna block the show off altogether, and then if we go public consultation, which is a good idea, it keeps that powder dry, and then you got no criticism then. If someone comes back, then the hotel, it's it's a good
Yeah,
thing, I reckon, so, yeah, I'm ready for the.
councillor Nichols.
Can we make it very clear in the community consultation of the several options that you've quoted, or that you've talked about here, that one could be potentially maintaining it as council land, community land, and leasing it, that option, or the potential for sale of it? Just so we can get that feedback.
Yeah, very much so, and I think that's, and I guess, obviously haven't had the conversation with the hotel, but I guess if it's issued under permit, which is obviously only guaranteed for up to a period of 5 years, that may change. If that was the appetite of the council after consultation, the hotel may have to reconsider its approach, because it may not want to be in a position where it constructs something which quote may be permanent, because what happens if a future council decides not to renew the permit, then it would all have to be returned back to its condition beforehand. So yeah, and then this is why this is, again, I think Councillor Evans, obviously not here today, very much one of her views is that on matters which can impact the community, we as an organisation should be as transparent as we can be. So the intention would be is that you would obviously show what the proposed, what it proposes to look like, and obviously outline the possible options and I guess the benefits and the potential risks associated with each option. Again.
Any other questions? Right, would someone like to do that?
Yeah,
Councillor Ryan,
Yep.
Councillor Anthony Nichols seconds, all those in favour, that's carried, thank you.
So I've got the sign up here, but that's good.
Yeah, it adds to the alfresco.
That's right.
Whole thing. That's
We just got rid of a whole alfresco dining room.
You can imagine sitting there watching the sunset.
That's right. When
Next
there's a
time,
lot of tourists that love doing that, so.
So the fifth report is in regards to the council maintaining jetties. Now, I probably think maybe some people in the chamber might have hoped that this might have been a decision or action for future councils to deal with, but we're going to have to get a wriggle on in regards to, well, in particular the Ceduna jetty, but at the same time, Smoky Bay jetty is also only 3 years away from its renewal period from its expiring. Jetty renewals program currently enables 50-50 government to council contribution to potentially extend the life of a jetty for 15 years. As we've looked at indicative costs previously on what it might cost to do a 15-year, I guess, extension on all 3 jetties. And we're possibly looking at, I guess, in excess of $5 million contribution from the council to deal with all 3 jetties all at the same time. Then I guess the rationale of a 1-year extension for Ceduna, 3 years for Smoky Bay, 5 years for Denial Bay, it gives us a bit of time to potentially deal with all 3 jetties. So in my conversation with the state government, I've been looking at possibility of seeking greater contribution from the government, but that greater contribution would come with a longer tenure period, so 30 years, which would probably mean that the initial upfront investment on Ceduna and Smoky Bay jetties would be higher, and I'm at this point in time estimating approximately $10 million. I guess I look at it, $15 million for 3 jetties and $7.5 million over those 3. That's a big investment over only amortise over 15 years. Say $3 million for 2 jetties over 30 years is a lot, breaks down to definitely a smaller amount per year, but it still gives us the ability to obviously look at what we're doing with the Nile Bay jetty moving forwards. Albeit there are not many there's only 2 locations in South Australia where there is 2 jetties within the one bay. And that's commentary that's actually come from the state government. I can't go, just like we've spoken about with the lighting. I can't go back to the government with an accurate cost until I've got accurate drawings and specifications to actually go to someone and go, what is it going to cost? We've done the exercise with the technical inspections that have been performed previously. We've just provided them to Maritime Constructions, and they provide us with the costs. What I'm proposing is that we actually take those technical inspections and for Ceduna and Smoky Bay, and possibly even Nile Bay, depending on how much it's going to cost, and actually go up and take those technical inspections and actually convert them into a technical specification document and say, we need you to do this work on each of these jetties. And so then we can then go out for tender and find out what it will cost. So then we can then go to the state government and go, right, we know it's going to cost us this much to do these. What are you prepared to do? I think it's with some of this work, we're going to have to put a bit of our own money in to obviously show that we're serious in moving these things on. So as it stands, we received a quote to perform this work at the beginning of this week. I did estimate it was about $50,000. I think prices come in probably just a tad under $48,000 to do this work for both Ceduna and Smoky Bay jetties. I guess my request to the council is that you provide me with a budget allocation of $50,000 in this financial year, so that I can do the necessary engineering and technical documentation for cost estimate works for both the Ceduna and Smoky Bay jetties, and then also at the same time still give me the I guess authorise me to continue negotiations with the state government, possibly in regards to funding and leasing arrangement for Ceduna and Smoky Bay jetties.
Any questions? No. Someone with a recommendation then?
Thank you, Gloria.
All right, Councillor Nichols and Councillor Brian, seconds, all those in favour? Thank you.
My final report is in regards to seeking direction from the council in regards to a federal Senate review that's currently underway in regards to sections of the Social Security Social Security Administration Act 1999. The Senate Legislative Committee is doing a review into parts 3AA and 3B of this act at the moment. Those parts of the act actually refer to the voluntary income management component of the Social Security Act. In my report in the background, I've referenced resolution with the council from March 24 and May 24 that do speak more probably to, I guess, council's position of lobbying for mandatory income management for vulnerable and at-risk persons. However, there is probably scope for council, if it wants to provide direction to me, to provide a submission to the Senate committee, council's lived experience through the cashless debit card trial, through the cashless debit card period. Also, looking at the post cashless debit card area, a time, and obviously what's been seen or set like evidence to show this, but also at the same time, as part of the review, looking at part of our submission, looking at the submission and data from the far west region of South Australia compared to other parts of Australia, which includes Western Australia and Northern Territory, etc. So leading into this I think Katrina's passed around this document, sorry, but it's my draft, so I guess preempting. This because I've only got probably a week or so to get this submitted to the government. This is my draft version of the submission if the council approved it. I guess it's where I'm seeking even though the council's position is to seek, I guess, mandatory income management. I guess my view is that if the council directed me to provide a submission, the council could potentially, as part of a submission, speak to potentially tighter guidelines in regards to voluntary income management, or potentially additional criteria that could for vulnerable people to be, I guess, for mandatory income management. So we're happy to answer any questions on this, but the recommendation as is.
Get for legals.
Yeah, I'm actually happy to move this, President. I was the one that brought us up in May 2024. In move that recommendation. But you want to talk, what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea sending the submission, but I just hope we've got some teeth in it because, yeah, it's I know there's a lot of their Indigenous leaders who are well in favour of it, not only Indigenous either. It's yeah, and if we can have a mandatory, it's in the long term, it's going to help a lot of people.
These figures reflect that.
Yeah, and we got figures here, and if we can send in a submission, and we can only try. That's all we can do. And if they say no, we're not listening to you, well, bad luck. But if they, it might happen, I don't know. So yeah, I'm in favour of it as well. Just to help the vulnerable, because I feel sad for them. Spending all this money on pokies and whatever, drugs. Then alcohol, it's sad. It's unfortunately the kids are missing out.
Councillor Jameson.
Just with this submission, Ben, there's actually nothing in it about any consultation with Aboriginal organisations. Saying that the majority of people who'd be affected and impacted by the need, not saying whether I agree or disagree, but I think a more powerful submission, I couldn't see it, we've only had a couple of minutes just to the public forum, we've had some data on the police data that is missing from the public report. But is there something in here in regards to consultation with Aboriginal organisations?
So this is actually the second review of these particular parts of this legislation. And it was actually, so the first review that was actually undertaken, I think it was 2023. And the recommendations actually of that review, actually the initial review said, we as a Senate committee haven't consulted, didn't consult appropriately with Indigenous communities. So I guess I have included part 8 is the need for Far West consultation. So I guess it's highlighting the recommendations of the first review and reinstating that back to this committee and going, well, okay, this is currently only council submission based upon, I guess, it's perceived, I guess, arrangements under this act, but also that any future income management arrangements within the Ceduna or Far West region should be developed with following meaningful consultation with welfare recipients, people living with lived experiences on income management, Aboriginal controlled organisations, Aboriginal communities, health and social services organisations, police. So this is obviously stating that you would need to definitely consult with these organisations. It goes into, I guess, talking about the very small number of people that have, I guess, voluntarily signed up for income management in the Far West region post the CDC, compared to statistics from, say, the Northern Territory, where there seems to be significantly more.
They're probably different programs.
I know they are different
Yeah.
programs, but obviously when you've only got well, double digits people, like, okay, well, obviously people gone from compulsory to voluntary, like, obviously there's, like, has that worked? I guess looking at, well, from my perspective, I'm only limited with how many different pieces of data I can access, but I've been tracking crime data, but I've reiterated in the submission that crime data isn't a direct correlation to income management. It's just obviously just what we can see pre-card, post-card, during card statistics. But then also, I guess possibly that there could be, I guess, well, we basically the council strongly supports this review in regards to the voluntary side of things, and is there better ways of potentially enticing people to actually sign up voluntarily to income management? I'm not saying the intention of this submission, my draft submission as it currently is, councillor, there's no intention to actually say we just want everyone to be on mandatory income management. It's not, it's actually just saying, look, support voluntary based on the lived experience post compulsory development. Like there's been very small, well, evidence of very small pickup of voluntary. So what does there need to be? And yeah, it is that consultation with the community. Obviously, we can't. I have spoken with a couple of people about this, like about the review. Look, not a lot of people are aware of the review, so therefore that one question, my initial question is one of the recommendations from the first review is that they need to consult better with areas that could be affected. Well, clearly they haven't done that so far. So I guess that's why I wanted to highlight it in this submission that, well, no, like we're not speaking on behalf of everyone here. This is just the view of this organisation, but then anything that does affect our area would need to be through consultation with all those affected in the area.
Yeah, because there are the university studies that have been done as well, that could be cited in that.
Yep.
My only feedback at a very quick glance, because we only got that just as the meeting started, is because Aboriginal people are the majority that will be impacted by this, that it is noted in the report that they will have consultation on it.
As a very much a draft councillor, more than happy for you
That is my feedback.
more than
That
happy
I'm
for you
providing.
to point me in the right direction of other evidence that could be used. But I just think if we don't say anything,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's a shame that it is that the review was not as public as it should have been.
As I said, I'm happy with it.
We're gonna have a crack at it anyway, see what happens.
We wrote to Peter Duffy, prior to the last election, advocating for the reintroduction of the card for those at risk, not everyone, those that are deemed to have fallen off the rails. And he didn't acknowledge it, but Rowan Ramsey did say that he obviously received it and thanked us for that submission. That was based on, I think, Noel Pearson's view of the world. So I think that there's, I defy anyone not to support that. But a bit like same as a car, same as your license numbers, you've got 12 months until you stuff up basically, and if you stuff up, you can lose your license. So right. Any other questions? Right, all those, want to move the motion? Well, I'll second it to the Ryan, all those in favour? Thank you, that's passed, I think that you've done. Yeah, right,
yes.
the ball changes over to results.
Interesting stuff. First one, caretaker policy. With the change of the local government election date, just needs a little tweak in regards to when the caretaker period actually commenced. You had to commence on the 8th of September, proposing that that's amended to be the 9th of February 27 to be in line with the new election date. So the recommendation is there that council adopt amendment policy 1.02, caretaker policy, and it should be as presented.
Anyone got any questions on that matter? Someone like to move it? Councillor Nichols, Hayley Nichols and Councillor Jason seconds, all those in favour? That's carried, thank you.
Up next.
Yep.
Community engagement policy. Okay, so this was presented previously to council at June, went out to public consultation. There was no submissions or feedback received. So we have to adopt a new community engagement policy by the 11th of September. So we're on track for that. So the recommendation is there that policy 1.13 community consultation annexure C is rescinded and council adopts policy 1.67 community engagement policy annexure D.
Yes, I'll have to move that. Councillor Nichols and Councillor, who says second? Councillor Haley Nichols moves and Councillor Anthony Nichols seconds. No vote in favour. Thank you.
Oh, okay, next one. Policy amendments. Now with the recent organisational review, there's been a change with position titles. So this was just a bit of housekeeping really. Just to amend the referencing to old positions and their change with the new structure to the new positions and to the new structure. So there's an attachment to that, which is at annexure E, and the recommendation is that council makes the changes to staff titles referenced in council policy documents as presented in annexure E.
I guess we have to wait.
We have to wait now because we actually don't have a quorum.
Yes, I was wondering that.
I wonder if you knew that before you left.
No. Councillor Nichols, you got a question?
Yes. So the title is General Manager Corporate People and Business.
And that's, sorry, that's
Or is
what,
that what Michelle was talking about,
I think that's,
the change, compliance, is it?
that's what the show
We
was.
just get to the document.
Sorry, I think,
On annexure E.
so annexure E, Sonia, corporate people and compliance.
We're going back to now. Easy.
Right, so which one are we looking at on annexure E?
Staff title reference, like for all the policies where that's been used. It's written on the first page, on the first
You know what the
page.
title is?
Yeah, so it should be corporate people and compliance.
So we're talking about the community hall here or what?
And business.
Guys, and compliance, so.
And compliance.
You have it as business in annexure E.
Right.
Error. So with the employment of Tracy Spriggs, she is, sorry, with Anne Twyford goes into the coordinator of people and governance. Tracy Spriggs is the coordinator of corporate and business services. And I've actually put a combination of both of those in mind, so we'll just amend that. The general manager one is mine. And the coordinator they reflect correctly, so we will just amend that referencing to get my correct title.
As presented and amended.
As presented and amended in annexure E. My bad, sorry.
You can be whatever you want, baby.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
No, we can't, we have still.
No, still haven't got it. Does anyone else have a question? No.
The second structure.
Because you left the chamber council, we didn't have quorum, so.
I thought of that when I took off and like that, and so I got an apology to due to sitting around drinking too much coffee this morning.
No. Anyone got any questions on this matter? Anyone got questions on this matter? Right, so we'll have to move it, councillor.
Yeah, I'll move it, change on
Right,
it.
councillor. All those in favour? That's carried, thank you very much.
Man, what's going on? Mrs. Twenty, you know, I've heard reports.
Okay, rightio, number 4. This is the Ceduna Memorial Hall Community Land Management Plan. Okay, so the community hall is community land, so it has to have a community land management plan. Now, we went out to expressions of interest recently to gauge any interest in anyone wishing to look at longer term hire into a lease arrangement potentially with the kitchen and the western foyer. We received some inquiries. We received a formal inquiry from Keith's Kitchen to enter into a lease arrangement. Now, as it's community land, we just need to enable a lease arrangement in comparison to an occasional hire arrangement. There needs to be an amendment of the community land management plan. We also need to look at amending the community land management plan, because if council was to ever use that community land, it's contained within our business continuity plan that we would use that building if we couldn't, if there was an emergency, if this building burnt down, for example, we would relocate to there. So currently under that, it doesn't have provision for that to comply with our business continuity plan. Have I lost you?
No.
Okay, so it's a tweaking of the wording to give it a bit more scope for the things that we are, and well, that we are actually able to do with that, because it is community land. And a part of being community land and having a community land management plan, we actually have to consult with the community, given that it's community land. So that's the steps that we have to take. There's the current community land management plan is presented to you there at Annex F with proposed changes tracked. And then the recommendation is for the Annex G that you endorse the proposed amended Ceduna Community Hall Community Land Management Plan for the purposes of undertaking public consultation. So it's just the public consultation phase before any decisions made to amend that, to then allow for leases and also for it to comply with our business continuity.
I have a question on if we lease the Western foyer, the kitchen at the back. We lease it to a business. Is that going to lock that building away for other purpose, like indefinitely? I think that if we're going to lease it, should we have the first right of review, or have a review the lease agreement every 12 months? Because what if the council situation changes going forward? Say you get a business in there, we can do like when you have 10 years, how do we kick them out?
You would do through, you would do a shorter term lease.
The way you're thinking.
Well, what I'd be proposing in put to is probably a 2-year lease. Because imagine being a business and only having 1 year lease and you've invested money into a business. There certainly can be some conditions as part of that you may wish to consider, and we're probably a bit early on those discussions now, but you may wish to consider that there's a bit of a flexible approach in there, that they may at times be required to vacate in certain circumstances, and you could probably list those circumstances in terms of having it available to other people for particular days, or working in conjunction with other people for those days. I've done some quick numbers in terms of the occupancy of the hall, and that was the whole reason we went out to expressions of interest, because it's rarely utilised. The kitchen itself is never hired by itself, hasn't been hired by itself, so no one's using it as a kitchen as such. It's been used with the main hall. Generally, a lot of agencies, a lot of hirers will tend to use it because they can make their own tea and coffee facilities. It's sort of a bit of a tag along with that, but it's used less than 50 days of the year.
I'd just like one more thing finish.
That's an estimate, by the way, too. That was, yeah.
So we get this Ceduna foreshore picnic money, and not the talk of incorporating the council chambers into that sort of thing. We might have to leave it out of here for 12 months. Oh, it's probably going to be our only option. I guess you have to put some sort of thing on a lease agreement that you do with anyone, but if some of this stuff comes up, council needs somewhere to go.
Yeah. Just bearing in mind, this is the kitchen and the Western foyer. It's not the hall, and it's not the Poynton Street foyer.
Yeah, so
Which was
connected.
But this day you're just looking at going to consultation.
Public consultation.
Can I just reiterate what it is we're voting on? I'm confused.
Okay.
Sorry, Tanya.
It's public consultation for the annexure to update and amend the community land management plan for the hall, which is annexure G. So it's just not making a decision on any use of it, it's just the consultation for the change to that community land management plan.
Yeah, so all we'll be reporting on today is just the consultation,
Correct, yeah.
as it says in the recommendation.
That's it, yeah,
So
that's it.
if I may. So community land management plans, I think most of our management plans are gonna have to go through some form of reviews in the foreseeable future. But probably the one thing that when you really need to be careful of, in this case, Councillor Jacobson, is policies for the management of the use of the land. Like, you need to be very specific in what you can and can't use the land for. We had a situation with the new community land management plan for a revetment walk down Smoky Bay in front of the shacks. Because the parcel of land, it wasn't community land management plan didn't allow. Now, as it currently stands, the community land management plan for the Ceduna Memorial Hall just talks about uses of, like, it can be used in accordance with uses in a Memorial Hall policy. The problem is that the Memorial Hall policy only talks about short-term hire to members of the communities or not-for-profit organisations. However, we as a council have written that the hall can be used in the event of, if there's a major bushfire, can be used as a hub. If in the event that, say, the council office caught fire, then we could use it obviously as part of our continuity, and things like that. The thing is that none of those uses are in the current Memorial Hall policy. So therefore, whilst we have them, we've said to people you can use it, that if we did that, we're actually in breach of the community land management plan for the hall. So what Sonia's doing is tightening up the use of the what the potential uses of the hall can be, but then at the same time, in the event that there is an entity that is interested in a longer term arrangement rather than occasional hiring, whether that be for the main part of the hall or whether that be for the kitchen and back foyer, it would give the council the ability to do that, because it would then be allowed under the community land management plan. So we're not talking as part of this, the resolution isn't saying we're going to do this with an organisation, but by going out for consultation and possibly updating the plan, it would give the council the ability to do that at a later date.
And I might just add, because we've put, by the way, Norman Waterhouse has helped draft this to make it very flexible to accommodate all those needs. Because there's policies linked to it, policies can be changed at any time. So as your circumstances change, your policies can change. Now, we don't need to change the community land management plan. At that time, we just need to change the policy.
But we're changing the plan now.
We're changing the plan.
Yep.
Because it wasn't compliant in terms of referencing those policies. It was compliant. It didn't take into account those emergency management business continuity plans.
Yep.
Or lease arrangements, if the council chooses to do that. It was just locked into all hire, that's it. So we're making that option available, and then we really need to have a look at those policies.
My bad, I probably in my head overthought plan and policy.
I'll give another example. We have a long-term tenure of a part of that land right now. Technically, that's not under the existing community land management plan, isn't allowed anymore. So trying to tidy up, right some wrongs as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
plan not policy.
Yep.
So it's just for consultation, and any feedback or submissions that we receive as a part of that consultation will come back to here. We'll also look at amending the retitled use of Ceduna Memorial Hall policy. It's actually at the moment called Memorial Hall Hire policy, but propose to change that so that you decide what that will look like, that policy, so we'll put that up to you at that same time as well.
Will that come out of this council or?
Yeah. No, this one, yep.
We got till March.
Yeah.
Councillor Jones, right.
Yeah, just one thing that's made to Sonia is that, yeah, it is a Keys kitchen. Who was that?
Keats Kitchen, sorry, Keats is Nikita Nichols.
Right. Then the other one is that, yeah, and once you decide, you know, whether they go in there or not, they'll come back to us, how long they're allowed to be in there for.
We put that lease, proposed lease to you to
It'll
make that decision.
come back to us,
We
yeah.
have discussed amounts.
Yeah.
Lease amounts, etc. But I will just give you a bit of a, had the staff do a bit of info in terms of the hiring days, which was about 50. A lot of the hirers in, as I said, the kitchen is sort of a tack on. It's not much more to have the kitchen as a part of the whole hire. So like electoral commission, not really using it for a catering purpose, it's for their own use. A lot of that is very much like that, housing trust, emergency management training. So as you can see, a lot of that's just, they take the whole space, so it's not like it's actually being used as a commercial kitchen as such. Now, expenses that we had that were part year, which doesn't take into account all expenses, to some point, probably anticipating about 40 to 45 for the full financial year, as in terms of outgoing, like a loss of that hall, excluding depreciation. So that's what it's actually costing council.
Yeah, if I may. Yeah, that was been my reason all the way along, and that's why I wanted to put a visitor centre in there, but at least we could use it. Because it's underutilised buggery and it's costly. Well, we're gonna, in this last budget, well, it's still coming up, we're gonna spend $105,000 to keep it up to scratch. And that kitchen, and back in my day, we spent 50 grand on that, that's a commercial kitchen. So if we can utilise it in some way, and we still don't know what's gonna happen with our visitor centre yet, so, you know, that's another thing we're gonna look at.
Any other questions? Would someone like to move that motion? Councillor Hayley Nichols and Councillor.
Second.
Anthony Nichols seconds, those in favour? That's carried, thank you. No, it was
Thank you.
Freedom of information statement. This is a regulatory requirement, legislative requirement, I should say. So each year, council needs to publish the FOI statement. That's been included annexure H with the amended, the current policy with the amended amendments highlighted. Annexure I is the statement, proposed statement. We had one application for the 25-26 financial year, one FOI application. And we have to include this in our annual report as well. So the recommendation is that council adopt policy 1.43, freedom of information statement, August 2026, as presented at annexure I.
Any questions on that one? No, someone like to move, please. Someone like to move that motion? It's Councillor Jacobson and Councillor Ryan seconds. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you.
Lucky life now.
Yes.
Internal review requests. Okay, so under section 270 of the Local Government Act, there's a procedure for review of decisions and requests for services. And again, we have to report this on an annual basis. On the very last page, I've got a list there. There's 3 that we have dealt with in this in the last financial year. They're listed in that table. So the recommendation is, sorry, just one error on that table. It should read reviewed by senior manager as per review of decisions procedure, not policy. That's my error, sorry, in dot points 2 and 3 on that table. The recommendation in front of you is that council receives and notes the 25-26 report on internal review of decisions under section 270 of the Local Government Act 99 and includes this information in council's 25-26 annual report. That's it.
Okay, so any questions on that, councillor Nichols?
I do. When someone asks whether their property is worth, or when they contest that the value of their property for rates is higher than they think it should be, does that come under this?
No, no, that does not,
That's
no.
goes to the department, value general, doesn't it? Yes.
This doesn't form a
No.
that doesn't form, that scenario does not form a section 270 review.
Yeah, that's actually a review of the Valuations Act. Which gives you have the ability to object to your value. When you receive your council rate notice, when you receive your emergency services levy notice, and if relevant, when you receive your land tax notice. So it's not just it can be under several mechanisms, so this is just the reviews under section 270 of the Local Government Act.
Whichever decisions we make. Is that right?
Correct.
Because we do make a decision to accept Value General's valuation.
Yes, I understand that, councillor, but that is council adopts the valuations that are provided by the Office of Valuer General. But then there's a separate legislation in regards to the objection to valuations. So this is just a requirement under section 270 that council reports annually on any reviews under 270 back to council. Otherwise, like I think previous year, there was about 25 objections to valuations. We don't deal with we actually don't deal with the objection that's done by the Valuer General.
Thank you.
Any other questions, councillor Davidson?
One quick question, Ben, or through your worship. Do we have been on the audit and risk? Would that be something that we should be getting with audit and risk committee? The 270s?
No,
No?
no,
Is that not a risk?
no, I don't believe that is councillor.
Not identified. They're wrong.
Right.
Any other questions? Councillor Nichols moves, councillor. Councillor, come on, second, councillor Haley Nichols second, all those in favour? Thank you, passed. That's you finished, I think. It's done and dusted. Now, over to you, just gonna.
Wonderful.
Joanne.
You've got husband and wife here too, very unique.
Scary.
No,
I can't believe he missed out this time too.
you should be sitting closer to it.
Supportive.
He's getting scared.
How would you
Okay.
131, yes. So the Visitor Information Centre services. So my report's basically just running down the last quarter, and just explaining what's happening, where we're sitting. I suppose walk-ins have been down about 57% on last year, but that definitely doesn't reflect the overall Ceduna visitation, as in accommodation has been pretty much well booked out, and you can tell by the way people are parking at the front, and our tour guides and attractions are being utilised. Toilets are still under repair. They've been fixed, but there's just some maintenance to be done on the building within before they're fully functional again. With these figures that are down, about 70% of SA tourism factors have also said that their visitation is down as well.
Yeah.
Nullarbor Links remains popular, which is a fantastic little walk-in initiative, and they've also got a new family special on. We're doing a spotlight on artists. We've been emailing out other artists just to display only. At the moment, we've got Bulgari, Gertie, as we call her, the pregnant marine debris seal that's sitting in there. That the she's pregnant. Yes, I'm waiting for babies. Yeah, very soon.
That'll get your numbers up.
I hope so. That would be wonderful. But no, so she'll be there until Oysterfest, then showcased at the Oysterfest, and then she'll probably move on to Streaky Bay. So then, but I think Pandomet, they're working on another one at the moment, so I'll be hitting them up to go. We'll just do a progression. So yeah, and any other artists that are interested in spotlight for display only, they do their own sales, so we sort of get some activation in that space. We've also got a winter escape raffle happening at the moment, so people can check out the website. We are really hammering our Facebook. We've had about 145,000 views in the last 3 months, which has been really good. So up about 170%. So that's been an absolute bonus. So digital reach is obviously becoming a way more important part of visiting servicing and trying to get them through the door. But we'll continue to monitor those as we move on. Our sales for souvenirs and whatnot have been great. June was an absolute winner. So we're looking at different options, more for local produce and products, and also other sustainable and interesting souvenirs and merchandise, I suppose. And then yeah, that's getting people through the door, and we're doing online sales as well through our website. So that's really good. But yeah, I suppose that's about it, unless there's other questions.
Yeah, they're on.
Yeah, I think it's good, your sales, your sales there.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at $23,099 was, yeah,
For 3 months,
for
yeah.
3 months, which is good.
Yeah.
At least we get a bit of money back.
Yeah.
It's good, you know, but
Yeah.
before, yeah. Anyway, that's another story.
And the souvenirs are in this, what you're selling now is an issue since you've taken over.
Yeah,
Council's taken over.
yes.
Yeah, that wasn't happening before.
No,
Well, no, not for us,
Not-
obviously, but not to this extent. No, it wasn't. It hasn't been for the last probably 3 years. They were looking in a different aspect of what they were wanting to do in the space. So this is our way of doing something we want to do in that space, and creating, yeah, creating some of our own souvenirs and some of our own merchandise as well. So yeah.
And I take it that the travellers are keen for it, yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Something like what Ceduna.
I mean, hello, who doesn't travel and get a magnet or a spoon or it's just something that you do. So if you don't supply that, they're not going to buy. So yeah.
People still buy spoons.
Oh yeah, people still ask for spoons.
do you do t-shirts or shirts or anything like that?
Not at this stage. We're looking at them at the moment. We're looking at jumpers and t-shirts. We've got a supplier that we're just looking at now. So we're slowly working, like trying to work out what people
Yeah.
want, and then
I know what's make that progress making this.
Oh. Yeah, insane. Yeah, it's good. So it's just making sure we don't overcapitalise.
Yeah.
I suppose we're just going very slowly and not wanting to spend too much before we make something as well. Yeah.
I see a lot of people just come through, oh, I don't care, where they go.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Someone like to move the recommendation? Councillor Ryan and Councillor Anthony Nichols second, those in favour? Thank you.
What we should do, we work with Harley and I, move and second it, and then move it over to those for the next one.
You only got one more to go.
We have it all come forward, that's last
Now you've worked it all out.
Well, last item.
My last item, so obviously the Westerfest pre-event update. Basically everything is is on track. Entertainment's all locked in and has been promoted. Our vendors, we're finalising all the details like now, the power requirements, all the compliance side of things. It's all good. All our major contractor agreements have been issued. We're just in the middle of trying to finalise all our compliance and governance requirements, which are like our aquatic licence for the fireworks and for bits and pieces with safe work and land use and everything like that. So we're sort of working towards that, waiting for insurance to come through. One big thing is Carnival World is back, $5 a ride. So that's been a very big, I suppose, social media push. That was our biggest social media, promotion, I suppose. 24,000. Well, was that 24,000 views? It was a lot. So, and we're doing marketing both on everything from Facebook, Instagram, radio, print, and through all the other VICs as well. So yes, I know we're on track, and obviously we've had to reduce the hours from we've gone 11 a.m. from and 11 p.m. from last year to 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. this year, just to counteract pricing for security, some infrastructure, some wages, I suppose, and all of that. So we're staying under budget, but we're still, and less for entertainment the last 4 hours as well, just to keep us under budget. And then when we close at 9, we will send them up to our event partner, up to the pub, which is great. So it's still a community event, and it's still, we're pushing people up, but we're staying under budget by keeping it to 9. Otherwise, it would have blown out. Yeah.
Righto, anyone got any questions about report, councillor Nichols?
Do we know if the hotel's gonna be open on the Saturday night?
Yeah, oh no, they've got entertainment advertised already, yes,
Okay.
yep. Yeah, and then so 9 o'clock, the fireworks will happen, and that's the end of the event, the Sunday night, the Foreshore Hotel fireworks at the end of the jetty, and then, yeah, to the pub.
Yeah, and we're still doing the parade?
Yes, yep, the parade's still as planned. We just had to do a little bit of an exercise to see what we can and how we can do things. So yeah, so it's all the same. Yep.
No.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to go on the parade, please do.
Any other questions? No, okay, so I'd like to move the recommendation, councillor Jacobson, councillor Anthony Nichols, second, so in favour? That's carried, thank you.
With our side.
Yeah, right. We're finished.
Okay, and let's add, and that note, we've finished the stuff on the agenda for public consultation consumption. We're now going to have to go into conference, so the live stream will have to stop. And go up to ask people that will, there's a motion there, a recommendation that we ask. We'll go into
I'll move.
conference. So you move councillor Jacobson and councillor Ryan, second, those in favour? Right, we'll go to conference, please.